Everyone, you've heard quite briefly, my name is Zhan and I am from BUAS, also within this project on the team from Breda University side. I'm very happy to be able to meet you in this way today and also take part in the next 3 days. Although I wish we could have been there in person, because once again, let's talk about the weather for a moment. It's like suddenly we woke up in the Netherlands and it's all winter today. And I see you have still a little bit of summer there in Barcelona. But let me quickly tell you a bit about Breda University. I'm going to be short and sweet this morning, as I think you have 3 long days ahead of you of planning and thinking and discussing together. But I would like to take a moment to briefly introduce you to our team from BUAS and also who we are. So this is our lovely campus here in Breda in the Netherlands. I myself work for the academy or domain or department of built environment, or a project leader who I will introduce as well. And within the built environment, we distinguish between 3 different roles or expertise, as you can say. This is between urban planning, urban designing, and mobility. And within this, we have students following these 3 tracks, and we really aim to also encourage them to always have an integral approach at Breda University, working obviously also very practically, but also with the aim of thinking outside of the box. And I think this is one of the challenges and main aims of these workshops also, is to think outside the box and think what you or we as the people would like to see within public places in our cities. So a quick moment to introduce you to our team. First of all, we have Nick van Apeldoorn, which you will get to know also over these 3 days a lot. He's our project leader and also a researcher, lecturing also a little bit within the Built Environment Academy. Then we have Igor Meyer, also from Breda University, and he's a professor of applied games, innovation and society. So he's very well known and works for the gaming department of specific games that has been developed. So we're very glad to have him on board. Then we also have Thomas Baitenbach, who I think Marco and David, you've met him while you were here. He assisted also at the same creative capacity building workshop that you are in now in Barcelona, which we had in Breda. He works very well with the students. He's a researcher, also working for the gaming department, and also coordinates the masters in game technology. And then lastly, myself. You've heard I'm also part of the team. I work as a lecturer and researcher, and my speciality is then in placemaking. So quite diverse, and we work very well then with the other partners. I would then like to take a moment to introduce you to 3 simple games from Breda's site or BUAS site that also has been developed. And the first one is this marine spatial planning, or maritime spatial planning, that we also refer to, and it's a simulation game. But it includes different levels of complexity. And what happened is we also want to, of course, build up valuable data to see what happens in future, what could happen in future. But we had to create and establish a way of how this could be tested out in a safe environment. I did not work on this myself, so of course there's a lot of additional information should you like to know more about it. But this was tested then obviously digitally in a safe environment. It started out in the North Sea. It was very popular, successful with the data it produces. It went on to the Baltic Sea and now also in the Mediterranean Sea, in order to see patterns, movements, propose new perspectives of what can happen and what not. Then of course in the marine world. Another game that I wanted to briefly introduce to you is the sim game. This is one that I personally quite enjoy. It's another simulation game, but this one then is analog. And we play this with all our third-year students that study within the Built Environment Academy. It's a 3-day session where everyone then is put within a role of within the city or within an urban area. So of course there's different goals and different aims that everyone has, but it's all about establishing and really asking the students to get within a role to see how the urban fabric deals with certain aspects, or how deals are made, or how the management of the city really works. So there would, for instance, be a team politicians, there would be a team from the municipality, there would be private investors, etc. And it's all about a negotiation game. So certain people maybe want a public space, but then of course people say, but these spaces should be used for future development or density. And then you can see how deals are made, what are the benefits, but also what are the costs. So it's all about then generating what people want, this data, and it's quite a fun game to play, and they enjoy it on this level. The final game I wanted to introduce you briefly today is Cycle Specs. This is also a very enjoyable one. And it is a game, as we also always say, if it's not fun, it's not a game. So the people quite enjoy this, and it's very interesting. What we do is we build 3D maps of different locations, and we've done this within Breda, Tilburg, and also Rio de Janeiro. And then we ask people, we put them on this bike, and we ask people to cycle around within these locations, how it is currently, so the current state of things. Afterwards, we put them on the bike again, and we ask them to cycle around and see what their experience is when there is provision made for cyclists. So there would be a safe cycling lane, traffic will be taken away from these cycle lanes, of course, there would maybe be a barrier to improve safety. And then we try and track the difference in the experience. So we look at the eye movement, we track the pulse, the sweat, everything of this person and how they experience this. And in this way, we can then see what is the difference. And the same could happen, for instance, when you put someone within a public space that is designed in a certain way in order to see how that person interacts within that area. How do they, what do they need or want it to be? Because also, as I think David and Marco, you've heard the trend going on today, is that everyone has a different need of what they want within the space, what they want within the city. And that is where we need to find a way of having that interaction with the people in an improved way to tell us what do they want, how do they experience certain things, and what do they maybe need. So that's only 3 games that I've obviously introduced to you this morning. There's a lot more, but I hope some of them could give you some kind of a background. But I wanted to leave a little space for this one. And again, some of the partners will know this one. So we had the same creative capacity building workshop that you're having now in Barcelona. We had in Breda. And this was actually the project that won after this 3-day workshop. And it's called Your Backyard. And we had then different teams working on this one aspect of advanced technology in games for placemaking. So what can we possibly do in the future to have more public engagement for placemaking? So there was one big aim set, and this was it had to be innovative. So we said if the way is to throw more money at a project, then it was not innovative enough. Furthermore, it was said if this project maybe could be developed within 1 year, we also said it was not innovative enough. So we really tried to push them in order to come up with best solutions of what can be done in future. So how it works is there is active engagement within the city, and this then generates data, of course, based on people engagement and what they want at the end of the day. So in brief, the municipality always has interactive maps located within the city. And when they then from the municipality side have proposed developments in mind of what they would like to do, change, etc., and they need input on this, they would then have pinpoint these locations of where change is proposed or there's a vision for this. They would then include information, whether it is designs, it's plans maybe of what would happen or what could happen. And then people can start interacting based on this. So it's not only about what the people would say, I like it or I don't like it, I find it good or I find it bad, but it's quite extensive where the people can even submit their own designs from a personal perspective. What exactly do they find could be valuable for them, for the user within these areas in the urban space? So then there are weekly cycles going through and these weekly co-designing moments with these participants of exactly seeing how this can be adapted in order to meet the needs of these participants, the residents, the people that would interact with these areas. And then we also think about the future of, for instance, we could use augmented reality to build up this data and then to really say, but we see what we plan and what we want on paper, but how will this translate into the reality? What would this look like? And that's where I think we should move towards the future and thinking about these advanced technologies of how we could really experience what things could be, how it could work, and what the people want and need. So with that, I would like to say good luck from our side also for the week. You will obviously get to know me and Nick also a bit more. We look forward to hearing what you think about this. It's a very exciting topic for all of us. And we also look forward to thinking and discussing along with you for the next 3 days. Thanks, Marco.
Well, thanks to you, Zhan. So let me stop. Can I stop your video sharing? Yes. Fantastic.
Thanks.
Okay, so well, thanks Davide and Zhan for the super interesting presentations. Actually, it's great to see how I don't know where to watch, sorry guys. Sometimes it's kind of crazy things to be with people here, people connected, so I will try to watch both. So I think it was, yeah, you have a question for Zhan? Go for it. I would like to know. Zhan, can you hear? Or
yeah, you might have to repeat his question. It's very soft from his side.
If you want to come here, that's okay.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to know where we can find more information about your backyard.
He would like more information about?
Your backyard.
Can you explain?
Okay, yes. Of course, I will have to discuss this a bit also with Nick, but I think throughout the sessions, maybe it would be also more discussions. I don't think there is anything published on this, of course, so it would be a verbally discussion, as you know, Mark and David also, as it was the project that came out of that 3-day workshop. So nothing is set in stone, it's still in an idea.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.